Since the Supreme Court judgment that has granted financial autonomy to local governments in Nigeria, there has been a series of conversations where some welcome the development, others are not so happy, finding fault in one way or the other. Now, whichever way people view the judgment, the fact remains that monies are now to go directly. Yes, Nigeria is facing a number of economic challenges. Prices of goods and services have shot up, and food, a necessity for survival, is becoming difficult for Nigerians and squeezing household budgets. This, therefore, has brought about an outcry for urgency in decisive action, transformative reforms, and dedicated effort towards socio-economic progress. And so in this week's edition of Midweek Connect, we will be looking at high cost of living in Edo State with particular focus on foodstuff. I am Udwakobong Achibong, and I also have with me as a co-presenter Ifeoma Kafo. Good morning, welcome to the program. Yes, before we dive into that discussion, let's bring to you our tidbits. And the ongoing infrastructural uplift at the Edo State School of Health Sciences and Technology is geared towards enhancing learning and production of quality health personnel. Governor Godwin Obaseki stated this shortly after inspecting ongoing construction work at the school ahead of accreditation.
And so far so good. There's quite a bit more work to be done. The management of the school have now been hired. The management team are here to see us and work with us to complete the infrastructure work.
Our job is to follow the vision of His Excellency. And simply the vision for us is to make sure that this College of Health Sciences and Technology is the best in the country by now. As you can see, he has made so much investment that's very clear to everybody here. The onus is on us now to make the best of the best to come to this college and for the citizens of Edo to be proud of the products that ultimately will graduate from this college.
The Edo State House of Assembly has donated 48 motorcycles to the state security network. The gesture with the aim of supporting government's efforts to enhance security sector and mitigate security challenges in the state is to climax the one-year anniversary of the 8th Assembly.
What our people feel, we represent each constituencies. That is why we took this decision to support the state government by donating this power bikes.
We got all these bikes to support the states, the security network that the bill has just passed. We should not leave the security issue to the executive alone.
Today, all we enhance our actions, enhance our activities. It will allow us to go outskirts areas where vehicles will not be able to access.
And rest assured, we are going to make judicious use of the bikes.
The attainment of excellent service delivery and zero tolerance for corruption were the focus of a one-day sensitization program for officers and men of the Nigeria Immigration Service, Edo State Command.
To foster integrity, efficiency, and accountability within the service.
The management has a major role to play. Now the head of the agency or the organization has to lead by example. There must be a high level of transparency and accountability. The management has to ensure that staff act in public interest.
Weak law enforcement system. When there's no system to check the activities of officers, that is the cause of corruption.
Efficient and quality service
is possible in the NIS. We look forward to an NIS where these values will be culture, a way of life.
This is Midweek Connect on NTA Benin. We'll now take a short break, and when we return, we will focus on the topic of the day. Please stay.
Do you live in Aduawa and environ? Or you need a conducive and open field in Aduawa for your wedding receptions, birthday parties, annual ceremony, family or corporate event in a serene and conducive environment that is close to nature? Then look no further. Ntabenin Aduawa is a place for you. Ntabenin Aduawa has a large field for all your events and ceremonies. Also, at NTA Corporate Headquarters TV Road, we have a state-of-the-art, fully air-conditioned ultra-modern hall for all kinds of indoor events with a standby generating set, guest room, constant power supply. We also have the NTA Pavilion for all outdoor events at the same venue. Guess what? Our prices are affordable, locations are easily accessible, venue is conducive and highly secure. Our outside broadcast van is available 24 hours and can broadcast your events live. And above all, you can air your events on our award-winning programs like Events and Style. Wow! What are you waiting for? Grab this opportunity and have your celebration in a grand style. For inquiries and bookings, please call NTA Benin, the award-winning station.
Join us every day on NTA Benin Network Center, Channel 7, VHF, Star Times on Channel 103. You can log on to our social media handles: YouTube, NTA Benin, Facebook, NTA Benin, Twitter, NTA Benin 1. For breaking news, call our news desk on 091-535-59648. NTA Benin, the award-winning station.
NTA Benin, reaching you from the ancient city of bronze, the cradle of black civilization.
Do you live in Aduawa and environ? Or you need a conducive and open field in Aduawa for your wedding receptions, birthday parties, annual ceremony, family or corporate event in a serene and conducive environment that is close to nature? Then look no further. NTA Benin Aduawa is a place for you. NTA Benin Aduawa has a large field for all your events and ceremonies. Also, at NTA Corporate Headquarters TV Road, we have a state-of-the-art, fully air-conditioned ultra-modern hall for all kinds of indoor events with a standby generating set, guest room, constant power supply. We also have the NTA Pavilion for all outdoor events at the same venue. Guest Guess what? Our prices are affordable, locations are easily accessible, venue is conducive and highly secure. Our outside broadcast van is available 24 hours and can broadcast your events live. And above all, you can air your events on our award-winning programs like Events and Style. Wow! What are you waiting for? Grab this opportunity and have your celebration in a grand style. For inquiries and bookings, please call Ntabenin, the award-winning station.
Join us every day on Ntabenin Network Center, Channel 7 VHF, Star Times on Channel 103. You can log on to our social media handles: YouTube, Ntabenin, Facebook, Ntabenin, Twitter, Ntabenin1. For breaking news, call our news desk on 091-535-59648. Ntabenin, the award-winning station.
Yes, you are just joining us. This is Midweek Connect on the Ntabenin, and of course it's a program that will x-ray critical issues in the society cutting across all sectors. And today we have something interesting to talk about, and of course it touches every one of us in the country. We're talking about high cost of living, but here in the state with particular focus on foodstuff. I'm not going to do it alone. We have guests here in the studio to do justice to the topic of today. I have right beside me, he is the executive director of an NGO, Community Awareness Against Social Vices and Youth Empowerment Initiative, Island Society. You're welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And just beside him, we have a representative of the market women. I'm talking of Maureen Okoje. Welcome to the studio, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone.
Thank you so much. Yes, let's kickstart the discussion. We are looking at high cost of living. But before we go into that, I think we have a backgrounder to launch us. Let's take a look.
Constant hike in prices of goods and services, especially food items in Nigeria, has been raising some concerns. The trend has been attributed majorly to the hike in pump price by many. Other minor reasons some citizens give are that traders buy their goods at exorbitant prices. Another is high transportation fare in transporting the items from the bush to the market. Also, insecurity is one of the reasons of the skyrocketing of food items. Again, some of these food items are not in season, but most importantly, many Edolites say prices of things are higher in Benin than other cities, as they believe market unions are the major problem. This is with a claim that the unions peg prices on goods and services, including food items, for sellers who risk being penalized should they sell below such prices. They also claim the unions collect a huge amount of money for registration of members before such members are allowed to trade, which also contributes to Midweek Connect. We'll be looking at this issue this Wednesday.
Thank you, Rosemary, for that backgrounder. Yes, let's look at it. High cost of living. Before we come here to the state, let us look at it holistically in the country. High cost of living. How did we get here?
I believe the issue is not the trader union per se,
but ghastly government failure, because there used to be a monetary committee in Edo here, that especially the Petroleum Monitoring Committee. These people, they go around the filling stations to ensure that the prices of fuel is sold at a regularized price. But these days, you see filling stations selling fuel at different prices. This also contributes to the prices of foodstuff, because when these foodstuff are gotten from the farm, they are transported to the market. And when they are transported to the market at a higher price, the market women will sell their goods at a higher price. So you must also look at issue of insecurity. How do they get their foodstuff that they sell in the market? How they do a lot of other things like the bad roads, how they transport this foodstuff from the market, from the farm to the market. So I believe when government regularize, because these market women are not powerful, these market unions are not.
We are not coming to unions now. Okay. We need to talk on unions. We are talking about generally in the country. Yes. Everybody is feeling the pain. Then looking at it holistically, what do you think? What has brought us this far to this level that we are? What has been the factors that has brought Nigeria to this present condition we are, high cost of living?
The subsidy removal has contributed, because when you remove subsidy without cushioning the effect, it will skyrocket the prices of things. A lot of other issues has also affected it, which include, for example, as I mentioned, transportation, insecurity, and the rest. So I believe those things has adversely affected the prices of goods and services in the market.
Mrs. Maureen, do you have a different opinion, or what's your own?
Presently, I would say the country is facing inflation. It's an inflation system whereby it is the position of the government to checkmate certain things, in the sense that the populace are those at the grassroots, are the ones facing the front. If you come to check the things, there are so many regulatory systems the government should put in place to checkmate the system, whereby at the end of the day, the people at the tail end, it will not bite on them. Take for instance some government policies like checking the issue of insecurity, which is mainly one of the main causes of this problem, because we no longer go to farms. Most of our farmers are afraid of being attacked one way or the other. So as such, if these measures are put in place, it will go a long way to alleviate the problem we are facing today.
All right.
Okay. Mrs. Maureen, welcome to the program. You know you were here 2 years ago. Yes. And that day you came on this same Midweek Connect.
Yeah.
It was discussion of this hike in food prices in the market, and you came that day with some people, and today after 2 years we are still repeating the same issue of hike in the price of food items. So that means nothing has changed, because there were so many promises of governments coming to intervene that the market women will allow people to bring in their food items to the market, because then we were discussing of they don't allow people to. You can't just harvest your corn. This is corn season. You harvest your corn from the farm. You come directly from the market, from your farm to the market. They don't allow it. And the same issue of hike in the prices of food has still not abated. It's still there. Even after 2 years, you came to discuss the same program. So what happened? Nothing.
Just like I said, changed. The thing will only change when the government improve on their policies.
So what policies do you want the government to improve?
You are talking about as at the time I came here 2 years ago, I believe even the price of fuel was even within control. We are talking about below 300. Yes. Now, with the removal of the subsidy and all that, I think the price of fuel is going to almost 1,000 naira, which is very, very too much for the average man to curtail.
Okay.
Now, take for instance, like most of our traders that go to the north to buy tomatoes and carrots, those that go as far to the north to bring in these things, because most of these goods we are talking about, they don't come here. They don't come from this place.
Which one exactly? Take
for instance, I just said those that went to bring tomatoes. You know, tomatoes come when they come from the north. We were made to understand, because at times we do have our regular meetings, that there is what we call taxation right from Benin.
Who is giving the taxation from the government?
Yes, they pay tax from every joint. All these things, when you accumulate it together, they go on top of that tomatoes. And the direct trader will need to look for that money first. If there's anything like profit, all still boils down to that tomatoes. That is why when you get to the market now, a basket of tomatoes is sold for about 100,000 and more. Compared to what we're experiencing then, below 20,000 naira. I remember the time I bought tomatoes for about 15,000. Okay. So when you compare the price of tomatoes to now, you know it's extremely too much. But you cannot blame that trader that went to buy that tomatoes. When you think of the cost of bringing the tomatoes down, the cost of transportation, which the driver in turn will say he cannot go and buy for 1,000 naira to go and bring tomatoes from the farm. Coupled with the problem of insecurity, so total, what do you get? It still comes back to the trader. So when you say the market has not been able to tackle the problem can only be tackled by the government and the government alone. Okay. When they sit down in their closet and look at this problem, they discover it's coming from the head and nothing else. There's nothing, little or nothing we can do in the market.
Now you are talking. Let me ask you something.
Wait, there's a problem. Question I want to say. Ask now.
I'm here.
Ugu, like in my place where I'm coming from, if you plant ugu vegetables or whatever, you bring straight to the market. You even as you're coming to the market, people will be buying on your way coming. Then in the market, you are free to just stand somewhere. The farmer that harvested yam can just stand one place and just sell anything you bring to the market. But I noticed that being here is not allowed. You are not, the ugu, even the way they tie their ugu is the same way. They will count the leaves. If this one is selling 200, it's 200 naira all the market. You can't say, okay, let me sell 100 naira and go and buy gari and go and eat. No, you're not allowed. I remember that last 2 years you came, they talked about the big weeks in the women, whatever, going to somewhere to buy the goods in bulk, like the ugu, they will buy the whole ugu, and now mandates that nobody should bring or sell in the market except for them alone. It was one of the things that we discussed here. So I want to know why is it like that? And why is this still persisting even after all this? Yeah.
I told you, I debunked that claim and I said no, it doesn't work that way. Like what you are telling me. If you come now, because whatever you are asking me, there must be a claim, a proof to that effect. If you come to the market with ugu, you come to the market to sell, you sell it.
Any market now?
Any market you can come and sell.
Okay.
I just told you can come and sell in the market. Because the issue on that you are saying,
and you are not registered in the union, and you'll be allowed to just come and sell your ugu.
You will sell it to the traders. No.
See, that's what we're saying.
If you want to sell to the public, you can sell to the public. Listen now. When you say market, what is a marketplace? A marketplace is where we buy and sell, right?
Yes, of course.
Now, when you talk about, you say union. What is union? Okay. Union is a collective group of people with a common interest, whereby the interest of your own interest and my own is protected. Are you getting it? Yeah. You are saying that as a common trader, you just cut your ugu and go to the market and
sell. Yeah.
You will go and sell one day and go. Am I talking? Yeah. Then tomorrow, your ugu is not there. Leaving the trader that you, when you came to sell, was on her own. She will come and sell. Those are the people that we know as traders. You came, you sold your one, you left. And there is no factor that will stop you from not selling as far as the perishable goods in the market. The only binding force we have as a union is to make sure that our people, like I said the other time, our association is a pivot between the market and the government.
Okay. All right, now, I'm not cutting you. I just want to let our viewers know that you can call in and make your contribution or observation on this program. The number to call is 0703 695 7086. I repeat it again, 0703 695 7086. Thank you so much. Please now, Mrs. Maureen.
Those big wigs, those women that stop people from... That was the bone of contention that 2 years ago.
Like I'm talking to you.
That once you come, they'll say no. They will not carry millions and go somewhere. I've forgotten the name. I think you were the one that mentioned the name of the place. They will not carry like 10 million. No, one of you said they will carry big money. They will go there. They will not buy all the goods.
I'm not me.
No, you are not the one. But one of you said it. That there's a particular market they go to buy.
I never came for that. What I came for was a Pidgin English program.
No. It wasn't a Pidgin. This topic.
Now let me tell you now. As the secretary of the state market women, I can vividly tell you that whatever you are saying is not what we represent. What we represent is the interest of the traders and to make sure there is peace and sanity in the market. So when you say unionism affecting the price, is it the price of petroleum that the market woman is influencing?
No. Now let me cut you in here. Let me come to Mr. Sayetin.
Yes.
Now I heard the president of Traders Welfare Association in the state talk that the main problem are the middlemen, and most of them are union leaders. They are in the union, market union, and they are the ones causing a lot of problem. That they don't allow people to come into the market and sell what they have to do. You must belong to the union. Or yes, they must know you as an active member. You must be part of it before you are able to sell. I don't know. Have you observed anything like this in the state? Have you heard it? Do you align with the fact that unions are not helping matters as far as prices of foodstuffs are concerned in the state?
Thank you very much. As I said before, there is nobody that is bigger than government, and you cannot say because you are a union, nobody can trade in the market. The failure, as I mentioned before, is that the government has failed to regulate these unions. Not that the unionship is bad, but because there is no regulatory measure by the government to regulate their activities. For example, as I mentioned, those days we had committees set up by the state government to go around checking prices of goods and services, like the Petroleum Monitoring Committee, checking the prices of fuel in filling stations. So the Edo State government can also look at the market and set up a committee that goes from market, for example, New Benin, Uselu Market, Kyosa, to check how these traders are being organized and how trade is going on in these markets. So it's not the issue of this union is doing this or this union is doing that. Why is the government allowing this? And we also have federal committees that regulate, like the Standard Organization of Nigeria. How do they conduct their business? How do they look at the standard of the goods? We are talking about the prices now. Are the goods in the market commensurate with the prices of these goods? For example, the rubber of gari, is the starch, is the ingredients or the makeup, the composition, all right for sales or human consumption? We are not looking at those angles.
You're checking the standard.
No, so you are looking at quality versus quantity.
Yes,
in the market.
Now it's not, because now we have a situation whereby the local farmers prefer to sell to international business people.
Here in the States?
Yes. For example, cassava.
Yes.
They sell it to international buyers because they get more money instead of using it to produce commodities like gari, cassava flakes and the rest. So the government must look into this. And just as Madam said, most of the things we consume here in Edo come from outside Edo or even outside the country. Like the other day, I was looking for dates to buy. I went around, they said dates were not available. Why? They say because they import these things from Niger Republic. So you see, the government has to look at a lot of things. First of all, they have to also encourage the farmers so that food and commodities can be available in the market. They also have to look at the roads where they can construct new ones, repair the bad ones. They also have to look at insecurity. Like a week ago, I watched on TV, a woman who went to buy farm produce in Afuze was killed inside the bush and buried in a shallow grave.
I think the police discovered the body just 2 days ago in Afuze, a 72-year-old woman.
Exactly. She came from Auchi to buy market supplies, and she was killed and her money stolen from her. So how do you expect these market women with all these challenges to risk their lives, get these commodities to the market, and not try to make more profits? So government needs to look at issues instead of castigating these market unions for trying to protect their members.
So you are telling me that it's a situation that anybody just wakes up in the morning, just come up with your pricing, whatever you feel like, give it to the public. Just give it to the public, because at the end of the day, you see what you purchase today at 10, for example, at 15 naira. The next day you go to the market, it has risen to 200 naira. Yes. And you begin to wonder, before now, people were like saying the dollar has affected even common communities of local production. You are talking of dollars and all that. So why do you think, is it not a deliberate attempt in the state here to truncate
when you ask them,
Nigerians?
they will tell you, go and talk to the union.
Don't you think it's a deliberate act to ensure that they frustrate Nigerians in the state?
Okay, the two major role of government in the society is to protect and to mediate.
Okay.
And when these roles are not being met by the government, it becomes a dog society, where everybody tries to protect themselves in whichever way they deem fit. So if the government is up to its responsibility, I don't think this market women or this market union would play the role of government, because the absence of the role of government now that this union are stepping in.
Okay.
Because government is unable to control price. So this union now are trying to meet this trader midway. Even though it seems outside that these people are exploiting the situation, but they are taking risk, as we've mentioned. Roads are bad. The bush are insecure. The transportation are high. A lot of things. So put this risk into consideration, and you see that this union are just trying to protect.
To what extent are they protecting themselves? Because I'm talking of exploitation.
Yes.
We are looking for government to come in. But does it mean that you now have to stop from what we've been hearing, alleging that people come in with their products to sell, but you don't allow them? Do you need government to come in to regulate you that somebody's coming to help his or herself from somewhere? He would have transported himself and all that, expecting that it's a wider market in the city and all that. And at the end of the day, you will tell the person, you must do this, you must do that.
You must sell to the women.
Do we need to wait for government to not let us to use our individual senses
on that
to
point,
help
on
others?
That point, this is not a free market where, for example, in the bureau de change business, you don't just get dollar and go to where they change dollar.
No, this is food.
No,
this is food.
It's the same thing.
You have perishables.
You have your vegetable.
At the end of the day, they can get spoiled at the
vegetable that you cut at the back of your house, and you feel like selling some to buy tomato.
The question here is the person a trader?
Of course not. No, which one is
it's not,
the person is
because
a trader?
what we must be sincere with ourselves.
Trader, how do you mean by whether the person is a trader?
This is economics.
No, not just like Madam said.
Now let him have it. Right? I will come to you now.
Okay.
He's trying to make a point.
Okay, just like Madam said, this union are trying to make a consistent or create a consistent market.
Okay.
You come today with your wares or with your product. Tomorrow you are not there. So how is this market supposed to continue if they just allow people to come? That means somebody can sabotage a particular trade by coming, and tomorrow is not there. You will not be looking for that particular produce. So what I believe the government should do is to encourage the farming of certain commodities in the farm, subsidizing transportation for the market or the trader people, and also trying to fix roads. Because if we don't have all this, if the commodities are not scarce, these trader unions will not take advantage of this situation. So we must be frank with the situation and be fair to the union.
Madam Marvin, do you agree with you? Because I think the way you are just moving your body, the way you are just saying, it's like
she said before now. She said, "Are you a marketer? Are you a market woman that you just carry your ugu or
that's what you do? You just
said that you're supposed to sell to somebody
because there must be the spirit of opportunity.
You will sell to somebody.
Let me tell you,
the price.
In economy,
should everybody belong to a union?
And besides, this is there.
No, you must be recognized in that market.
The market, yes.
That is the gospel truth. You cannot just come in today. Okay, where will you display your wares? There are spaces you can not go that way. Listen, in economics, there's what we call the wholesaler, that's the producer. There's a middleman in between, which means it has been in existence. Then direct to the retailer. I don't know if you understand.
You're talking about perishable food.
Madam, wait, there is not seasonal.
You're talking about
let me tell you,
like products.
I don't believe in yes, I believe in facts. When you bring your goods, if they say even if it's minimal, you bring it to the market, nobody will disturb you. They know that you came to look for your daily bread.
They don't allow that.
But even Madam, let me tell you now, wait now.
I'm just telling you now so that
is what you think. No, that is what you think or feel.
We do research
because most times we go listen now. We go with facts. If you have anything like I told you, I gave you my office. I told you where I come from.
Yeah, you were here.
Which means you have direct contact with me. There is no way that you come to the market, even if you bring something to the market to come and sell, they'll tell you say no. It's no way. It's not done. It's not done.
Then why
as far as you pay your
why are we having complaints of union? I'm not from here, but when I came into this state until today, you keep hearing people talking of unions. Unions.
But there are problems. Are you telling me that NUJ is the union of it was a problem in those states?
But there is
union. Excuse me,
it's a body of journalists, and we know how to resolve our matters.
That is what the definition I gave you now.
But this one, it has lingered.
Listen,
we're still talking about the same.
There are things we call open criticism. The market, you know, is like a kind of body that people are trying one way or the other to criticize. It's not done that way. When you go to the market, you know the amount of things, efforts that the union is putting in place.
What are the efforts?
So, like I told you now, that from essence before, you want the average calculation of the market woman. They say we're a trader. The woman's story starts in the kitchen and ends in the kitchen. But these days, we are made to understand that even intellectuals are inside the market. Why? Because of the biting economy we are facing.
People like you. That's why we are always bringing you.
When you know that, the system has changed. And now we cannot relate to the government freely. So this problem of business, this increment in business that we too are facing, because it's a big dilemma in our part. You cannot expect me to go and buy something at an exorbitant price, and you think because of human meekness I'll come and go below my cost price. It's not done. I left the house to go and look for my daily bread, which amounts to me checking what I'm talking to the market, putting it to place, then look for what we can bring out. Mark you, whatever I sell today, I have nothing to keep for myself, because other factors of production that I will use to produce things in my house will take it.
So it would mean that if you are able to concentrate on just what you want to buy and help yourself, we wouldn't have these issues of you reaching out to stop.
Will I not why you must sell to a middle person that will now. I'm telling you today, listen, I'm telling you today that when okay, coming to this place now, the last time I came, I remember I came with 500 naira.
Yes, of course.
Coming down to this place is 4,000 naira. Yes. So are you telling me the market woman has inflated the price of oil? Man, we are talking you need to put so many things into place. If we are looking at the market alone, something made that price to go up. Why don't we put all the factors of production together?
Do you know why we are talking about the market stuff? You know, feeding food is one of the necessities. Man must eat. Even if you can wear one cloth for 1 month, but you must eat.
If you want to regulate,
so that's why everybody.
If you want to checkmate the market, so please let us start from where the source. Every river, every flowing river has a source.
What's the source as far as you are talking about?
The government is the source.
Now, we are talking about government. Recently, I think a few months ago, let me come to Mr. Sarton. A few months ago, the state government brought together stakeholders in the food value chain and had a meeting. I don't know if you're part of the meeting. Yes. Okay. You'll be able to tell us more about it. Because the government said why we have this meeting is because people are complaining that unions let me finish. Let me land. That unions are really the problem. And so government called all of them together and said he wants to see what he can do.
The government never said so.
Let me land.
The government never said so. I will bless you. No.
I heard the report.
He said that because you heard the report, I was there.
Government,
they're two different.
That was a report.
No,
she can't just say.
I didn't just come and
before we do anything. We do research.
I must have confirmed it. Yes. Governor said because of complaints he has been receiving that people there's high cost of living as far as food stuff is concerned. Prices are getting higher and higher every day. He has called this meeting. And a lot of people were complaining the market women, the unions are not helping. Some others says transportation, the roads are not good. Some others says insecurity and all that. So I want to really, Mr. Saratin, looking at this, he said government really need to come in. Government has started something. Do you know what should they be doing further? They would have called the meeting and calling and then say, let's see what we can do to really bring down prices of food stuff. Because that's the aim of all we are talking here and there.
Unions are everywhere.
Prices of food stuff should be able to come down in the state.
Food stuff.
What's here?
Oh, okay. What I think is government know exactly what to do. This is just shying away from the problem itself. Because you know the roads are bad. You know this litany of issues. For example, let me come to electronics. Let's leave food for instance. The prices of electronics last year are not the same this year. Same with other things. But people are not complaining because these are not essential commodities.
Of course, yes.
So if you look at the essential commodity, yes. When you look at essential commodity, for example, government need to play a pivotal role in making sure that the prices are affordable, not necessarily low, but affordable. Because if the government really mean business, how many farms do the government operate or in partnership with?
Even the governor at that meeting said he wants to know the people that produce this food, the farmers, to give them seedlings and fertilizer and all that. He said so.
At this point,
so you are talking about
at this point, you don't know who produces what. You understand? And you say this is not the fault of the government. I'm not saying just the state government, even the federal government. Another thing, most of this perishable food of food items can be processed into, in the Western world, you have perishable foods in cans. So how many companies have the government brought in to convert perishable food into processed food? So that we don't run every time when exactly. So the problem is we must look at the issue right at the face. What is the problem? We need good roads to transport produce from the farm to the market. We need more farmers. Today, how many persons are going to farms? Go to the villages today, everybody is in town. nobody in the village to carry out farming activities. Farming is not looked upon like a very poor.
It's not lucrative enough for like a white collar job.
Yes.
It's not really made to be lucrative.
Those going into farming are people who believe they can sell to the international market. For example, sell starch to the international market, sell to big companies, not to produce food for local consumption. So the government have to look at these issues, how to make farming lucrative, how to make it mechanized, so that instead of using your physical strength all the time to do something, you can use, for example, in my local government, is the local government secretariat renting out tractors? Okay. Do they have equipment for farming? No. So how do you expect the local farmers there to work on their farm efficiently and produce for the population?
So Mrs. Maureen will ask you that particular meeting, you said you were there and you heard what government said. At the end of the day, how satisfied were you in all that government doled out, saying we want to do to tackle high cost of living, particularly to foodstuff?
Like what the governor said, I think he said, like just what my brother said, that those interested in farming should signify their interest, and at the same time the government will help them one or two things to alleviate it for them. Take really mechanized farming is of major concern.
Somebody's calling.
Let's check whether it's on this program. Hello. Yeah, good morning. Yes, please, who are you and where are you calling from? All right. Please, are you you want to contribute to Midweek Connect? All right. Continue.
The major problem lies on government because the government are not doing the right thing at the right time.
Yes, sir.
The union, they say, there's a union, yes, but the union has their control, the government is doing the right thing. The government can control the union, whether they like it or not, because they registered it, they do it.
Yes.
So the government has right to even withdraw their license or certificate, whatever they call it. And then the traders, when you see the exorbitant price, if the government is able to help to bring most of these days down, because that the prices will go down. Like petrol, that is the major thing now. Because they remove subsidy. Before the arrival of the present regime, petrol was not as high as this. I think petrol is not less than 700 now. One diesel is 1,000 plus. And most of the vehicles that travel far, they use diesel. So if I now buy diesel of 20,000 going to Ntabenin and coming back, I have to pay my money by increasing the transport fare. And the trader have to also increase their own. That government have to control most of this thing, so that the union will not have to when there is control of government. To say that people don't go to market to buy or sell their goods without the union, it happens. Go to Ntabenin between 4 in the morning and 8 in the morning. You see people tell me whatever is called food or anything, they sell it there, they cover the road. Even now, nobody knows the union have come to this government. I always know of Ntabenin, you may have it in other markets. So please, let us be frank with ourselves some other.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Yes, we've heard the caller, Mrs. Saratin.
So our viewers might not hear because the sound was down. So some of the things.
Yes, that's what I'm going to say, Mrs. Saratin. He has raised a number of issues. Yes. He's talking about subsidy. You know, that has been the talking point before now. That subsidy removal is really a factor that has brought about what we Nigerians are facing. He has equally raised an issue too, that government too has a lot to do in terms of controlling these unions, because they have registered these unions. They can control them, and even the exorbitant prices can be brought down if government comes in. So I want you to react.
The caller has said the right thing, because just as we've been saying here, governments pose the bulk of this blame, not the union, because if the government was up to duty, the union will have their role of maintaining order amongst their member alone, not interfering with.
So you mean there is a gap, or there was a gap that Union 9 came to fill?
Yes, there is a gap because the failure of government now has necessitated the union stepping up. Because if there was no union in the market, it would be chaos at this point.
So are you solely supporting this union coming to fill the gap and the way they are going about it? It's not a bad idea coming to fill up, to regulate the market, to make it more organized. But there are excesses. These are the issues we are bringing up. You know, trying to force them, because some of them talked about, even from the background report from Rosemary, that some of them are levied highly. You know, you are not allowed to come, you are not free to bring in your waste. We've talked about this. So is it that what union now is? We know that government, okay, there was a gap, and this union now try to now cover the guy. Is it that there are excesses now? That's what we are talking about. Is it good?
No, it's not good.
Is it not affecting everybody?
Yes. The fact remains
the
that.
excesses in what way?
Okay, let me comment.
There should be a clarity on that issue.
Let's let him, because he is in this. He didn't just fly from America to Nigeria to Benin yesterday. Yes. He has been in the system. Even if you don't go to markets, your people around you, you must hear one or two people complain about all these things.
We all feel this.
So, is it that gap that they are now feeling, their excesses? That's where the peg is on. So, what is your take on that?
Yes, just as you mentioned, the union has stepped up to play government role in the market.
Okay, sir.
Of course, when you are not qualified or certified to play a particular role, there must be lapses. You understand? And these lapses are what we are seeing now. Because this union, they are also, the leaders of this union are also members of the trader.
Yeah.
You understand? So you don't expect them now to move against themselves. So that's why we say the government must mediate. Because that's one of the role of government, to mediate on issues. So failure for government to mediate on issues like this has resulted in this union playing government role and playing it in favor of their fellow traders.
Yes, because we don't have time now. And you are talking of government mediating.
And from the what the caller said.
No, before we may not have that time to go into all those discussions because we are rounding up. Let me stay with him, Mr. Sabatin. He's talking about government. You are talking of government mediating.
Yes.
And the caller now say government can control this union and the activities. What should government be doing? How can government do this?
Of course, government is handicapped now because they are also at fault from collecting too much levy from the market itself. Because we are trying to ignore that aspect. Is government not making money from the market? Are the unions not paying to government? That's why government, because when you put pressure on the union itself put pressure on the people. So that's why the government is trying.
It has a ripple effect.
It's a ripple effect, yes. You know, so the government is also trying to shy away from this responsibility, because when you tell the union not to do this, the union will also tell you, you also reduce your levy and tax.
So as your parting words, what are you saying? As we are talking about bringing prices of foodstuff down in the state so that people can live, have access to food. And what, as your party's words?
Okay. I believe government should look into issue of farming.
Okay.
Look into the issue of roads from the farm to the market. Look into the issue of pricing itself. Maybe subsidizing certain food items like gari that is commonly consumed by a lot of persons. And if that is done, I believe will be okay.
Oh yes, Mrs. Maureen, by way of wrapping up, what are your closing thoughts? We know you are from the market union and all that.
You always defend your own.
What should be done?
She has a lot to do.
But we don't, because of time.
Next time. When we do an updated development,
yes.
So next time.
By way of wrapping up,
always obliged.
What do you think the government's main job to tackle the issue of security, the transportation, and at the same time, our people should go back to the farm. If we have miniature farms in our houses, I don't think this issue of
flood the market with all this food.
Yes, if I have pepper at home, I will not come and buy in the market. So that is it.
All right, we are wrapping up. Thank you so much, Mr. Ailem Osarachin, for being here to share your thoughts on this critical topic we brought here. And Mrs. Maureen, thank you so much for being part of our discussion. We look forward to having you more on this program to tell us when need arises. So, Ifoma, as a rough closing, what would you have to say?
We just hope that government will go into farming, subsidize agriculture, so that food will flood in the market, and all these issues of complaints of union excesses at least will reduce.
Yes, in all our discussion today, it boils down to the fact that government has to be proactive in its effort to ensure that foodstuffs. Of course, the president, I think some days ago, talked about disbursement of some monies for foodstuff to be bought across the state and distributed to people. I think some state governments are equally doing that. I've seen Oyo State, I have seen Lagos State and all that. And we hope that expectations are high, but let's believe that government is equally seeing the pains of the people. Like the president said, there will be pains, but at the end of the day, there will be light at the tunnel. Let's keep expectations and hopes high, believing that everything will work for Nigerians soon. Thank you so much for being part of this program. We look forward to having you next week to join us for another interesting topic. Thank you so much, and do have a wonderful day.